Hi, this is Megan from Bath Garden Center. Today's video is going to be about pests and diseases that you can find in your garden bed and what you need to do to recognize them and what you need to do to prevent that or stop it from happening. So the first one we'll talk about is that they can get sunburnt, especially for plants that are going to be outside in the direct sun that we have here in Colorado. It's really dry, it gets really hot. Your plants dry out a lot more, so you need to keep watering to prevent them from, completely drying out, as well as monitoring your plants and how it looks, the appearance of your plant. Make sure that there's no browning or crunchiness. A lot of times sunburnt plants just, makes them all dry out, makes them all crunchy and crumbly and not very good. If that does happen and you're noticing that this plant that you have is not doing well in direct sunlight, it's looking like it's getting worse and worse, try covering up your plant a little bit, like provide it a little bit of shade, or move it if you haven't planted it in the ground yet, or if it's not too hard to transplant it to something else. So be aware of that and just adapt your way of growing your plants to what your plant needs. The next disease or fungus that can start happening to your plants that's really common is called powdery mildew. So it's like this kind of white layer of powder on your plants. You can get it on your vegetables, you can get it even indoors. It's just a white gross powder, and what it is it's made up of spores that through the wind it'll spread its spores and continue contaminating all the rest of the plants that it can get to with more powdery mildew. There's super easy ways to treat something that has powdery mildew. So powdery mildew is a fungal disease. So you want to use a fungicide, something specific to fungus, to attack it. There are a few different kinds of fungicides that you can use. If it's more like a specific area and it's only one or two or a few plants, that you could use a ready-to-use spray of copper fungicide. This is super effective. I've noticed with my plants that I've had powdery mildew on that just like 2 applications of this will completely get rid of it, and then you just need to monitor it. But it all kind of depends on its situation, on the environment, all of that. Just this is a really good product for getting rid of any kind of fungus. For gardens and raised beds, those bigger spaces, we sell a hose end sprayer of this fungicide. You'll just attach your hose to this end and it'll dilute it to what it needs to be, and then you can just spray it all over your squash, all over all those kinds of vegetables and plants that have powdery mildew on them. So this is a really good option as well. It is organic. You really want to look for the organic sign when you're doing something on a vegetable or something you're going to be consuming. You do not want to add any kind of pesticides or things that aren't organic and safe to eat when you're using or when you're making a vegetable garden. So make sure you're looking for the organic symbol when you're using it on things you'll consume. Watering your plants from the top does make your plants a little bit more susceptible to fungus and diseases. If a spore lands on something that's dry, it could just, keep going and following the wind. Otherwise, if it's something that's wet, a spore can just lay and stick onto something and kind of infect things that way through travel. So keep that in mind. Watering from below, like using a drip system or something like that, is really awesome. It helps it so that your plant just immediately gets direct water from below. Powdery mildew will slow down the growth and the production of your plant, so try to take care of it right when you notice that you're getting this little white powdery fungus on your plant, so that it doesn't keep spreading and so that your plant can keep thriving and flourishing throughout the season. Another very common pests to get on your plants, indoor or outdoor, are going to be aphids and thrips. What they do is they will go onto your plant and start sucking out the juices from your plant and kind of hurt your plant in a slow way. And so to get rid of those guys, you could use an organic, like a neem oil or some kind of pesticide. However, ladybugs are very effective. They're not gonna hurt your plants. They're not going to do anything bad to your plants. They're a super beneficial insect. So just let them do their thing. Two other products that you can use for insects and pests on your plant. Neem oil is super popular. It's just gonna be a mild insecticide, pesticide, more mild than your other ones. It's organic, so it's safe to use on all of your plants. It's safe to use on your vegetables and things you're consuming. This is another product we have. It's called diatomaceous earth. This is just going to be insect control. It's a little white powder that's in here. It's made from granulated diatoms, which have a really hard exoskeleton. So by making it into a powder, it's like these little shards of glass on the ground. You just make a nice little circle around the base of your plants that you're seeing are getting more attacked. That line around it kind of protects any of the crawling bugs from getting to your plant. Last common disease, something that can happen to your plant that is pretty commonly seen, is going to be called blossom end rot. This happens a lot of times to peppers, cucumbers, melons, mostly tomatoes. It's going to be caused by a calcium deficiency. So when finding a fertilizer for your vegetables and tomatoes, you really want to pay attention to the back ingredients and make sure that you have something that's kind of high in calcium. A lot of times buying a fertilizer that says vegetable, herbs, or whatever, tomato, sometimes they don't have any calcium inside of them. So even though something says vegetable or tomato, it doesn't imply that it's going to have calcium, which you really do want to give your tomato and pepper plants, all those guys, because they are super susceptible to blossom end rot. What blossom end rot does is it creates like a soggy black circle at the bottom of your plant or of your fruit, like your tomato, your peppers, and basically what that is it's gonna just start rotting from that area and keep on rotting to the rest of the fruit. That's a big indicator that you need to apply more calcium and that your plants aren't getting enough calcium that they need. Some products that you can use to prevent your blossom end rot, something high in calcium. This is just a concentrated version of calcium. It's got 20%. That's a really good high number. So diluting a little bit of this, adding it to your peppers, your melons, the cucumber, tomatoes, all those things will really help it to prevent blossom end rot in those fruits that it's making. Here is some good organic tomato and vegetable fertilizer. This one I really like. If you look at the back of it, it's got a lot of really good things. And the calcium level is going to be 7.5%. That's what we're looking for our vegetable fertilizers. So pay attention to the back. Some of them don't even have any calcium, like I said. So it's important to read the back. This is just going to be an insecticide, pesticide for your tomatoes and vegetables. This is going to prevent your thrips, your aphids, those kinds of things on your plant and get rid of it. It's a safe brand to use on your tomatoes and vegetables, things that you're consuming. It's organic, so keep looking for the organic symbol when you're looking for something for your vegetables or your herbs, those kinds of things. Do not get something that's not organic. This is very important. Well, thanks for watching the video today. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us. We're always happy to talk about plants.